Hello and welcome back, guys. Today we're north of Houston here in Texas, and we are going to do something that I've been waiting to do for quite some time. We've got these Torklift lower stable loads. We are getting ready to put these on the F450, guys. From what I understand, these are almost a must for anybody that hauls heavy loads or big RVs. There are quite a bit of parts in here, and I've looked over the instruction manuals. It looks like it's going to be a bit of a chore, but we're going to be able to get it done. As you can probably tell, or will be able to by the background noise, we are in a park. There are a bunch of families here. It's right around spring break time, so you may hear some background noise. I want to apologize for that in advance. But come on, let's get started on these lower stable loads from Torklift. Hello and welcome back. If it's your first time here, I'm Scott.
And I'm Allison.
And we're
Jarhead and Ginger's Journey.
We're full-time RVers. We do destination videos, tips and tricks, and all things RV. If that sounds like something you'd like, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and come along on our journeys. What the Torklift lower spring load does is they connect to the leaf springs, one on either side of your truck, and they engage the lowest leaf spring there, making the ride more stable from the beginning. You don't have to put a load on or as much of a load to get the benefits from the Torklift lower stable loads. From what I understand, they take about 95% of any of the sway problems and things like that you may have hauling a heavy load or towing a heavy trailer that puts a lot of the weight inside the bed of your truck. So let's get this out. It's a small box, but believe me, there are a ton of parts in here. So we'll start with the unboxing. We'll look at it a little bit, and then we'll get into putting it onto the Ford F450 Super Duty. Let's go. Well, there's all the parts and pieces, guys. I do know that we have two sides, obviously. So we have side one and side two, or right and left. This section here, or a couple of brackets here, I believe is to move the emergency brake lines that are on the driver's side. And then you have all of this other bolts and nuts and spacers and washers. They even gave you two, well, they didn't give you anything, but it even comes with two drill bits here, guys. So let's get a closer look at the parts and pieces, and then we'll get busy putting this bad boy onto the truck. Well, that's just step one there, guys.
These are called wedge packs. They have 2 for the right and 2 for the left. As you can see there, they go together with one big bolt that's supposed to just slide through there, I believe, but it's very tight tolerance there. I actually had to screw a couple in, as you saw, and then I could push it in once we got past the threads. And then you also have the smaller bolt here. One thing to note is this lower flange is very sharp. So when you're putting this together, be very careful with that. This one has a little bit of a burr on it as well, but these are the upgraded packs also. These are this is the stainless steel set. They have another set also. I think it's regular steel. I don't think it's stainless, but this is the upgraded stainless. So far not too bad. I think there's about 9 steps, so we still have 7 to go. Let's keep going and see what we find. Okay, for this next step, I'm going to need the torque wrench, because I have to do 17 foot-pounds. I know this is a little overkill here, guys, on this 1/2 inch big old torque wrench, but it's the only one I have right now, so this is the one that's going to have to be used. Also, you're going to need the space to put the spacers in there, and try and hold it together while you do this. So I went ahead and I got out my screwdriver so I could tighten this down a little bit, so it's kind of holding in place a little better. And it's a 1/2 inch nut. So these are the tools I'm going to have to use, and I'll go ahead and get this one done up, and then you guys can see how it rolls. But I had to stop for a minute, figure out how to do this, and now we'll get rolling. So there it is, guys. That's the way it looks before. Next step is to put one of these on it. But like I said, it's 17 foot-pounds of torque on the one with the metal spacer. The black spacers are just kind of in there in place right now, and the next step will be to put this one through. So I just wanted to pause it there to show you guys how this process works. I'm going to put these all together to this point, and then we'll get right back with you guys. You can probably tell from the shade that we have now that it's been a little while since I left you guys last. I did get all 4 of the spring packs done, but let me tell you a funny story. Well, funny for you, not so much for me. I had to go down to the tool shop twice, and I have to go again. One of the bolts that goes through here has to be flush, and it requires a hex to get in there. It also requires that you do 17 foot-pounds of torque. Remember how I said I had the big one and that was it? Well, now I have a small one too, guys. I went down there, I bought 3/8 size hex socket, and as soon as I tried to put it on my bigger wrench, it snapped it right off. So I went back down and I got another set with a smaller wrench, and I was able to torque the rest of them down, but as I got that last one done, it actually snapped it right off inside there. This was the little ball style, took it right off. So not so funny for me, but kind of a haha moment for you guys, I'm assuming. But like I said, we did get all 4 of them complete, and I will come back. For me, it will be tomorrow. For you, it will just be a few seconds, and we'll actually get these things installed on the truck, guys. I'm losing daylight, so yep, we'll see you in the morning. It's the next morning. As you can tell, it's a little chillier out today than it was yesterday. I did get all 4 of the packs complete last night, or assembled last night. You saw how one of them went. Didn't think you needed to sit through the rest of them. Plus, as you know, I was losing my daylight here. I have good news. We are on now step 6 of only 8 steps on this passenger side. There is a 9th step for the driver's side. That 9th step involves this piece, and it's moving the emergency brake or the parking brake lines out of the way. I also found out what this piece was for in reading on this step. Actually, this is just a template. You're going to slide it up and then backward on the very bottom spring, and then you'll use the 3 holes in the bottom of it. These 3 holes are your template, and you're going to take the provided drill bit and go up and make an 1/8 inch dimple. It says about an 1/8 of an inch dimple in each side of the bottom leaf spring on both sides, and then that's going to take these set screws right here. These are what are actually going to hold the packs in place on each of the leaf spring sides. So there'll be 2 of these on each lower leaf spring on both sides, a right and a left on both sides of the truck. So I'm going to go ahead and take you guys under the truck now, and we'll show you the basics on the first one, and then I'll move on and we'll hopefully get this set up today. So this says, take this template, push it upward and all the way back towards the axle. And now I have the 3 holes here that I'm just going to put this drill bit up into and drill. They said about an 1/8 of an inch. So all I want basically to do is break the surface of this leaf spring here. But this is some pretty serious steel here. I'm hoping this drill bit's gonna cut pretty well. We'll see. All right, let me get y'all down here and see what I got. This is what we're looking at here underneath. So what I did was on this one, I tried to drill it, you know, with the template in place, and I decided that's probably not the best. Y'all saw it kind of fell off of there and was spinning around the drill bit. So then I took and I held it in place a little better, and I just basically marked these. So now I've got all 3 of my spots marked. I'm going to go ahead and take the template off like it is now and just use the bit itself. I think using the template as a marker is going to be the best bet here. So let's get her done. Well, there we go. I'd say that's pretty close to an 1/8 of an inch divot, and that's what they were saying on the instruction manual. So what I'm going to do next, I would normally drill all 12 of them, but for sake of this video, guys, I'm going to put this one on, and then I will do all the drilling and installation on the other ones separately. On the installation step on this, guys, it says to take 3 of these washer nuts, put them in the holes right in here. Then it's going to slide on to that lower leaf spring, and then these, the little set screws with the washer, will go up through and tighten into place and hold these onto the leaf spring itself. So it wants me to lay these in there like this. I hope you can see that. And then slide it onto the leaf spring itself. And then that should hold these in place enough for me to get up under it and screw these set screws in. I hope I got enough hands for this. It seems like it's gonna be a, I'm gonna need an extra hand or two for this, but let's do it the way they say to do it. And then if we have to adjust it, I'll let you guys know what I end up with. So come on, let's get back under the truck. Well, that seemed to go pretty smoothly. The little nuts are just like sitting there in place, but they are hex still, so they do kind of hold their spot. I had only one that gave me a little trouble. When I pushed it up on it a little bit, obviously it popped right out of the hole. All I had to do was start it, get it started threaded, and then I could pull it down in place. I think when I do these on the rest of them, I'll go ahead and thread these on before I get under the truck. Not pull it all the way through or anything, but just thread it a couple of times so that I have something to grab a hold of here, because I don't really have a lot of room to get my fingers in if I need to try and adjust that nut that's just kind of sitting there on the plate itself. But pretty cool idea, Torklift. Not bad at all. Now the last step in this process, the one I forgot to show y'all while we were out from underneath the truck, you're going to take a jam nut and a washer for each one of these. You're going to run them up, and they want you to torque them at 17 foot-pounds. Also, these the little bolts without a head that we put in here, those are torqued to 17 foot-pounds as well. The problem with that is they're even smaller size than the ones that we were doing yesterday when we were putting the spring packs together. So I'm not an expert at torquing, obviously. I don't know that there's a good way to torque these, guys. If you have a good way to torque these things that are a hex key, let me know in the comments. I broke 2 of them off, and I'm only trying to go to 17 foot-pounds of torque. So what I did on these, as you guys saw, I used my angled key, and I just put a kind of a bit of a hurting on them. I put it like a 1 UGA torque on there. I'm hoping that's good. I may have to call Torklift later and make sure, but I got it. I can do only what I can do, guys. But if you know a better way, please let me know in the comments. Well, that's it, guys, for this side. So far, it's been pretty easy, other than breaking off the torque wrench stuff. So let me give you a look under here and see what the final product looks like. So there it is. You got the little set screws or bolts up through there, the washers in place, the jam nut on. It's all torqued down to 17 foot-pounds, and let's see. You can see here where they've come all the way through the bracket, and they're actually holding on to the lowest leaf spring. And over here on the packs, they are not engaged yet. We're going to leave them like this. There's a whole nother section in the manual on how to engage them, and you can also turn these off. So you can pull this cotter pin down here and you can pull these packs out of the way like they are now anytime. So if you don't want to use all the springs and maybe have a rougher ride, you can turn these off, guys, which I really think is cool. But anyway, there's the first one on. Let me put you guys down, I'll get the rest of them on, and I'll pick you guys back up when we're done. Well, we got 3 of the 4 spring packs on there. The one in the front on the driver's side, according to the instruction manual, says that the cables will need to be moved for the emergency brake. So that's the step we're on now, guys. I've got the holes drilled over there already. Just waiting to move these brackets. So far it looks like there's only 2 bolts I'm going to have to remove 2 brackets under there. We'll move them around. We'll put the new flange on there, and move the other hardware there. And then there's just the cables that run right through the area by the leaf springs that needs to be moved. Once those are moved, we should be able to put that final pack on, and then we can go into putting them or adjusting them so that they are actually doing what they're supposed to do, not in the off position, in the on position, basically. One thing I did note when I was doing the rear side on my F450 is where the exhaust is. It was a little harder to get to than the rest. I actually had to use my 90-degree angle for the drill bit. Otherwise, I couldn't have fit it in there without a longer bit. But other than that, guys, this has been pretty straightforward so far, the install. And man, I'll tell you what though, those leaf springs, they are pretty stout. Obviously you want them to be, but even just to drill, like they say, about 1/8 of an inch deep so that those little starter bolts get a hold, it takes some force in there to do that. So be prepared for that if you guys are going to put these on your truck as well. But enough of this, let's get started with moving the emergency brake cables. Come on. Back under the truck now, guys. These are the 2 brackets for the e-brake cables that they're wanting me to move. This one right here and this one right here. It's only 2 bolts to remove. This one that goes through here, and this one that goes through right here. Those are the only 2. They happen to be 1/2 inch, and some of the other stuff we've been working on has already been 1/2 inch, so I had the tools out already. So here we go. Let's see how this is going to work out, just to move the 2 brackets for these cables, because this is where the pack has to go, right here on this lower leaf spring, and I guess they don't want these rubbing into them and things like that, so they're going to have to be moved. Let's get at it. Well, that was it, guys. Took out 2 bolts, replaced 4, sorry, put 4 bolts back in, and now it looks like we've got better room over here for the pack to go in. Just in time too, it's starting to rain. Got a few minutes, hopefully, before it starts pouring down rain on me. I'm gonna get this last one in, and I'll be right back with y'all. Well, there it is. With the brake cables moved out of the way, they can hit, I guess, if you push into them, but we definitely have made ourselves a little more room there for the cables, and the pack is now in place, guys. Here are all of the tools that I actually needed and used. I needed, obviously, the drill. I had to have the 90 for the drill here because of my exhaust was in the way. I used the screwdriver with the hex bit on it to get everything started. I had the pliers that I used for some spacers on the spring packs, my 1/2" drive ratchet, my 3/8 drive torque wrench, some assorted wrenches I had, 9/16, 3/4, 7/16, and a 1/2". I also had each one of those in a socket, 5/16, and whatever size is smaller than that for the hex key. I had to use right at the very end a small screwdriver here to reposition my brake lines, and then this was the bracket and the two drill bits that were supplied by Torklift. So really not too many tools, guys, for what seemed to me, at least before I started, to be a pretty big job. So for the install, it was really straightforward. The instructions were written very well, and I think if I didn't have the issue with the hex keys breaking when I was trying to torque them down to 17 foot-pounds, again guys, if you've got any tips or tricks with that stuff, let me know. I went through 2 sets of the hex keys on 3/8" ratchets, and I couldn't even get them barely tight, and they started discoloring, and then they snapped off. I did end up making it work, but I don't know what the deal is with those hex keys. But that being said, if I didn't have that issue and I was just able to work it through from beginning to end, I would say probably a couple hours at the most to set up all 4 of the packs, and then probably another hour, maybe 2 hours to get them installed on the truck. The hardest part of the install is being under there, and you know how it is under a vehicle, trying to have your neck up in a certain way and all that stuff, plus all the pressure you had to put upward on that drill bit to get those things in. Even just 1/8 of an inch is all they say, about 1/8 of an inch, just basically to get that thing started. Man, that's some serious steel down there. So all that being said, I want to thank Torklift again. They sent me out this, and they even sent me the upgraded version, the stainless steel version. They didn't have to do that, but I really appreciate it. And if you guys are in the market for, or have looked at these Torklift lower stable loads, guys, these things are beefy and they're incredible. The next thing for me is to go put them on into the on position so they're actually doing their job, put the camper on and do some driving. I'll let you guys know later on down the road how or if they have fixed any of my sway problems going down the road, or whatever the case is. So stay tuned to Jarhead and Ginger's journey, guys. If you're still here, we really appreciate you sticking around, and if you don't mind, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. It'll really help out our channel. And also give us a comment, guys. We actually read and respond to every single comment that comes into our channel. We love the comments and we love hearing from you guys. So again, as always, guys, Semper Fi, and God bless.